following programme deals with mature subject matter and is intended for adult audiences only. Liberals should seek advice before continuing.
You're listening to A Radio.
Thank you for joining us. You're listening to A Radio, and this is the Morning Moment. We are on Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 11:45 Eastern. Follow us on Spreaker.com and click on the like button. You can find us on most social media platforms such as iTunes, Spotify and iHeartRadio. Go to our website, aradio.wordpress.com, for details, where you'll find more content and details on our podcasts and more. This is a very simple piece I wanted to do earlier, but things kind of got away from me. Nevertheless, after the weekend release of the link to the Trudeau destroying Canada video, and if you haven't seen it, I urge you to see this. It's a game changer. If you are open to having your mind changed, that is. It's not my video, but the subject matter dovetails straight into this piece from Fox and Friends, March 2, 2020. They are interviewing a person from the country of Venezuela. Well, you'll hear for yourself. It should be yet another wake-up call for Canadians, and I hope the message from the South for Americans. If you ever let Democrats in, it's only a matter of time before they try and impose this craziness on you. And if you think I'm exaggerating, don't look south, look north. Play that video I highlighted and alluded to, and be careful, be very careful what you wish for, because you could become, in just 2 elections or less, Canada on steroids. But the problem then becomes, who rides to your rescue? Because it won't be Canada, let me tell you, because we'll be broke. Here's that piece, and please watch that video.
Well, President Trump taking the stage at CPAC this weekend, warning about the threats facing our country under a far-left socialist agenda. Listen.
Far-left radicals have become increasingly desperate and increasingly dangerous in their quest to transform America into a country you would not recognize, impose a fanatical code of political correctness, and implement policies that would turn America very quickly into a large-scale Venezuela.
Well, that is a warning our next guest knows all too well. Born and raised in Venezuela, he saw how that country went from a rich nation of immigrants to a hungry nation of desperate refugees.
And that's where they're at right now. Venezuelan refugee and Young Voices contributor Daniel DiMartino joins us now. Daniel, what is your impression of the rise of socialism on the left in this country?
I was really shocked when I came to the United States less than 4 years ago, how the Democratic Party went from a party that was supposed to be moderate, right, to a party that embraced the ideas that I fled from. And that's what pushed me to speak up against socialism and to write this op-ed that told the story of my grandfather, right, that Venezuela in the 1950s was a country that received millions of immigrants from all over the world, such as my grandfather, that was prosperous, where people even without education could get a job and prosper, and how slowly but surely socialism destroyed it and turned it into what it is today.
How? What went haywire, other than the obvious?
Right. So Venezuelans elected people, starting when we got democracy, that started implementing overburdening business regulation, that imposed price controls, that nationalized businesses. And while at the end of the 20th century we reformed many things and we were still a prosperous country, by the time when Venezuelans elected Chavez in 1998, that's when Chavez started implementing what Bernie Sanders talks about, right? Government provided housing, government provided free college, free healthcare, free everything, food, electricity, and that bankrupted our nation.
Do you see our country going in that direction too?
I think that many Americans are being deceived in that direction. But unlike Venezuela, the United States has something that we didn't have. That is a huge movement that wants to protect the Constitution and defend the history that this country was built upon, right? Which is a history of freedom. It is a history of emancipation, of independence. And I think that what we need to do to counter this wave of socialism is to present a bold free market proposal. While Republican politicians are right to attack socialism, they're just defending the status quo. And we need more than defending the status quo. We need to present free market proposals for healthcare, college and healthcare and housing, so that we don't have the socialists having the advantage here.
But the problem is that more working class and middle and upper class, and if you could tap into the resentment that working class have in some cases, like Mao did, like Chavez did, next thing you know, you have a revolution.
You are very right. Socialism comes out of envy. And that's why not only do we need bold free market proposals, we need to defeat the envy that socialists are sowing among Americans. And we do that by teaching gratefulness to children, gratefulness to young Americans, gratefulness to live in the greatest country on earth, right? In a country where you can walk on the street and be safe, in a country where you can go to the supermarket and find what you need, which is something I didn't have when I was a child.
All right. Joining us live, Daniel DiMartino. We thank you very much for joining us today from Louisville in Kentucky.
You can find more at aradio.wordpress.com, where you can find links to us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Gab, Spotify, and email. We're on Spotify under the podcast section. Type in Canadian Politics with a twist and you'll find us. We are continuing to reach out to you, so please pass these links on to your friends. Please click on the follow button on Spreaker.com. You can listen to all our morning moments at Spreaker.com/A-Radio, EHRADIO, A-Radio. And please click on the like button. Join us Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 11:45 Eastern, and tell your friends and pass the word. We only tell the truth, not what the mainstream media want you to know.